Oh, hello. A little messy. Sort of so hot and humid that I think I have to change this light a little closer. I sort of want to talk about like our neighborhood. We have had these meetings because we got a grant for 60 million, and because we had got this grant um, to fix our creek. The south over here, south Cypress Creek, and so we wouldn't have a flooding problem again. But the money's being split with four other places, I believe, um, that also was affected by floods. A few people over here, they lost their homes totally, and those are already tore down. Well, we have a neighborhood association um, group, and they had a meeting. Now, the first meeting they had that I went to was over at Mitchell High, and basically all I got from that meeting was like they was real worried, like, did you get FEMA money? Which I didn't. The house is on a hill, and there's a retaining wall, and I would say that even though this is a fenced off area, there's it's like 3 lots wide, whatever. Then it goes all the way back to the next block. Well, the water stopped because of the hill slope. We're on a hill. It stopped at the bottom of the hill and filled up. And the police at that time was around here, and they were supposed to evacuate everybody. They put evacuation notice on my door, and there's one police lady. She was real excited. She was jumping around. What's gonna make you move? Oh, what's gonna make you get out of here? What's gonna make you get out of here? And and without even thinking, I'm like, because like in my mind, you're standing on dry land. You can see where the water is. We're now waiting, so, and it's not going to get any higher. So I said, when water runs uphill, I'll leave. So that pissed her off. So she called the electric company to turn my electricity off. Well, the electric company guy, he looks at me like, why am I being called? Like it's my fault that, she called, but he can't turn off electricity. He's standing on dry land, so, because, you know what I'm saying? Because they want to evacuate the people that are actually being flooded. And finally the fire department and the police couldn't do nothing but really, and she really was very ugly, very mean. She even spit on me one time because there was this pet bully used to follow. So she has me in her car and she's calling the animal control, and the dog I had at that time was behind the fence. Well, they eventually just stole that fence, and I don't know, the dog died. They killed the dog. That'll learn me. That'll learn me to say water, doesn't flow uphill, And so anyway, we have a problem in our neighborhood. So like, I've had a problem, with them ever since. Stealing pecans. City worker lives next door. They took the fence off, messed up your chair. Put Roundup on my peach tree, killed the peach tree, the rose bush underneath that peach tree, and on the fence was honeysuckles and a lavender-like vine, and morning glories. So he killed all that. What was amazing, the first year he killed all that, he left all the poison ivy, but this year he came back and had the poison ivy. They like coming over in my yard and fucking with stuff in my yard. And he's real concerned. And you would think that even though they got the house real cheap, but the loan that he took out to remodel it, that you would think he'd be more worried about paying off the loan. Or it may be because he can't, he has a stinky attitude. He just want to blame me, He thinks he's gonna kick me out of here. Because like the last name is Jewish last name, so you know there's no such thing as a black Jew. And they so ignorant. They go to church every Sunday. Don't know they pray into a black Jew. They think they pray into a white Jew. So this is like, even though we call it Walker Home, it's the West Junction of the Walker Homes, and we get a proportion. This community has received a portion of the $600 million of financial grant that has been put aside for our community, which for the flood and disaster 1/4 West Junction community. This is what they wrote. There has been no revaluation or remodeling, I guess, because I can't pronounce it, of homes in our community in the past 40 years. So basically, the thing is, because I thought, because when they sent me this, they're talking about soil testing for the community. We have received no financial assistance for the city of Memphis or Shelby County. We request that the second public meeting be null and void due to 500 improper postcards sent out. They sent out some postcards with the wrong date of the flood. 2011 flood victims are still suffering from the loss of their homes, mold, mildew, water damage, and contamination and sickness. West Junction community did not have any input in the project design, and Shelby County Resident County Board established a radio benefit analysis where we were excluded from the 200 million in leverage. I don't know what that means. So what the thing is that they want more money. Now, sorry I read it so wrong. I got my air conditioner on, but it's trying to work. It's 81 degrees, it's so hot, so I think I'm just sweating. It's getting my eyes salty. But anyway, so the thing is, but when I was first going to the meeting, like, okay, like the guy across the street, his house flooded. He totally got it redone. He had insurance, right? The lady behind me, her house was tore down. And so what they did with her is like they paid her like whatever, like $20,000, but when she removed, she had to get a loan to make the difference of that house costing more. And the loans they gave them were not very good loans because they had a balloon payment, which some people end up not being able to afford the balloon payment. But you know, she's happy where she's at. She just wants them, you know, she just wants them to buy their land or whatever. And well, now the meeting was actually in this church, and that was just an example of one person. And the guy across the street, I think he should sell his land because he didn't sell his house because he didn't raise it up. They put in all this money in it, so and I don't think he like what they were talking about in a way was like to get that 20% and then 160,000 to split like between 7, which would have been like approximately like 10,000. So they would get 30,000. You know, and then they would be offered a loan if they want to move into like a $70,000 or $90,000 house in another area or whatever. You know, if they want to move into a 40,000, you know, it really wouldn't cover their move. So you know, that's what they were sort of talking about, but somehow they want to get like 80,000. Well, anyway, it was in this church, the Holy Assembly Church over here on Non-Connor, 789 Non-Connor, and it's walking distance. And this preacher over there, he's only seen me walking. I'm driving now, but you know, like it's right around the corner. You know, it's like a block away. You know, so I walked over there, and I'm early. Well, actually, I'm on time. He's there on time, right? He's not there early. Turns on the air conditioner. They're like expecting people to be late. You know, black people are supposed to be late. I'm like, oh, you talking CB time? I'm like, I bet you they ain't late to go to work. You don't play that. You know what I'm saying? I get tired of all that. Like, we're supposed to do stuff the stupid way or something. I don't know. But, but the lady that run the meeting, she's a sister of the guy across the street. And the first meeting I went with her on a block association, neighborhood association, whatever, community association, whatever they call it. She was talking about she was jealous. She was jealous. Like, she's like, did you get money from FEMA? I'm like, no, why would I? My house wasn't flooded. And I already had messed with FEMA with Katrina. I already know that, that if you get any money, like the people with the Red Cross and the white people, they're all jealous and they just steal all that money back. It's like they don't want you to get any money. So, I mean, that's how I felt their behavior was and the attitude that they projected was like, you know, um, and plus, my feelings got um, justified when they found out that some of the people that was working with Red Cross was stealing it. It was like like, oh, they didn't have sort of like what Trump says about Puerto Rico. Oh, well, they didn't have nothing before. So we'll just fix it the way it was, which before it was broke. So like that's some narcissistic. Racists are narcissistic. So anyway, this preacher. So I'm sitting there with this preacher before anybody else. First of all, he has to spray this stuff, right? Which I hate that shit. I hate when you have carpet and you spray those aerosols because I got sinus problems. The carpets, I'm sorry, they hold dirt. I don't care how many times you vacuum, they hold a lot of dirt mites and stuff like that. And so it's not like, and people walk in there, they're walking in with their shoes from the street, And and the pants I got on, that I set on got, little bits of dirty a little bit, dingy. But anyway, so I sit down and so I asked not to spray that, and I go in the back and I could tell that he had sprayed that stuff back there because now it no longer smells like a floral smell. It just smells like a chemical smell because it's so hot that, and that's one thing, this is a pleasant smell, but when you close up and, and it's 100 degrees or anything like over 80, you're one of these closed up, very humid places, it just smells chemical. And it's like, I don't know. It's the same thing with the incense. Well, the Arabs, I know they were smoking weed up in there. There's a guy's like right in my face. But anyway, it's neither here or there. But anyway, so I'm sitting with him, and like the church didn't flood because it's like it's like it's one block away, but it's one house over from where mine is. But anyway, so it's above the flood where his house is past my house. Floods this way, church is over here. My house is here. So you know what I'm saying? My house didn't flood. So I'm like, the place didn't flood. He goes, well, we want to get money for the victims. We want to get we got victimized. We still victimized. So I asked him, I said, well, let me do an interview. Now I noticed right away he's like thinking more like he's not looking at me as an equal human being, with something more than a vagina. I can tell this already. Which, so already I'm like, this man, the carpet's nasty. They got the air up in here all fucking nasty. They have children that be going in that church. Anyway, and this preacher got a playground across the street right for the church with no trespassing signs. And some of the kids went to look at it. They didn't want to play on it. The slide, right, didn't have the ladder to get up to the slide. It was all rusted out, used stuff that they got. So good place for a kid to get technic, lockjaw. But anyway, so I'm sitting there and talking to him, and so I'm like, so he's going on about how because I'm mentioning some of the other things that they were talking about, and I said, because I was like, I just want to see what you feel about, they're talking about we want to economically grow the neighborhood, with new homes, job employment, economic stability, empowering the community. Nice words, right? This is what else they want. They want a major supermarket. We just lost Kroger's from over here. So, and we have another grocery store over here. I think it's the Butcher Block. They want to add 10% on when you're at the counter. So along plus with the taxes, a pharmacy and a farmer market. They got it like as one word: a pharmacy, farmer market. And then they want to have a health clinic. They had a health clinic over by their high school, right? It closed down, so that fell in bankruptcy. The grocery store fell in bankruptcy. They want a mini strip mall. The strip malls around here are closing up. They're going bankrupt. They've closed up. A football stadium, and they want the actual football stadium behind the school where there's a swamp, where the extra rainwater would drain off in there instead of backing up into the neighborhood. But right like near the school, about less than a quarter of a block, is a park. You could walk from the school about a quarter of a block to this park. Probably less than that. They could put the football field there and track for the school. And then they want another precinct in here, which also, like my experience, police precincts, and once they put it in the neighborhood, you can forget about it. That neighborhood ends up looking like Detroit. That's what they were. This is the idea they had in Detroit. And then they had the kids at school saying like that, whatever, rough the dog, that, tell them call 911. Yeah, a whole half an hour so teach them to call 911, and, they call 911 and they get murdered. But anyway, so getting back to what the preacher was saying, because I had to get up and leave. He was over there, so I'm sitting there, and I'm sitting, he's sitting up, in his part, like he got a little desk like up there, like he's sitting down. He probably couldn't stand very long anyway. And so anyway, so I'm asking about him, like, how were you a victim? So finally he goes, I'm not a victim. I haven't been victimized. All nasty, like his mama beat him as when he was a child, beat him before he could walk and talk. He got an attitude, one of those type of attitude problems. Real nasty. You've seen it in a lot of primary Southern people, so, very hostile, the nasty attitude, So he straight out was telling me that, and then what really makes me mad, about this man, is that they don't pay taxes for this church over here. So he wants them to buy out that land so he could move. Land that didn't get flooded. Buy it out. The person didn't pay taxes, right? So anyway, I continued to listen to this man. And finally, two people came in. The lady that lived behind me had bought the house from Miss Water behind my lady, and her house got flooded and was tore down, and she's moving to another place. And she was there with her daughter. But before they came, let me tell you something about this preacher. Now, we in the church. I'm thinking about this, church and stuff, like this is supposed to be like a preacher, man of cloth, right? Now, we all know a little bit about sin, and I'm sure you heard about the seven sins. I guess it's mostly a Catholic thing, but, I've been Presbyterian, our family church is Presbyterian, whatever that means. I don't know. But they recognize some of the Catholic stuff, right? So, like the seven, it's like, too much pride, greed, lust, malice, envy, glutton, and then like being angry, like revenge, and a slut. Like, wait a minute, it might be more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, I guess anger and being a slut, like lazy, or together. But anyway, he hit 4 of them. You know, he want to act like, oh, because I'm a preacher. You know, he like get all that false ego pride stuff. Very greedy, lusting after somebody because I guess, you know, he was brought up to think that, you know, if he sees a woman that might be attractive, that, you know, I'll fuck her. Oh, shoot. Like they got next there, you want to fuck me, you want to fuck me. They got like that type of attitude. Scary. So, you know, so he's like, he has that lust thing. And then he's jealous. They're jealous because the people that in the other neighborhoods where their houses was like at least 100,000, you know, that they paid opposed to what ours is appraised for like 20,000, you know, just the facts. And so they got more money. I think they got like $80,000 on the over $100,000 house. And probably mostly they didn't get that because you know how insurance companies are. There's always the depreciation, you know, and then you have to, you know, claim everything. Like you have to claim the TV and all this, and everything gets depreciated. You're not going to get the money what it costs you to get to be whole to get a brand new one. You know what I'm saying? Or better example is like with a car. If you have a car wreck, you could have it right after you bought it. It's going to depreciate because that's just the way the facts are. So anyway, I walked out of that meeting. I'm afraid we're having another meeting with the people, actually with the government people, and they're very nice. Um, I'm just not on the same page with the people over here because I understand the ones that already lost their house, they're relocating. Yeah, why they might want to sell their land, why they not want to do something with the empty lots or whatever. I don't blame her on that one. But but they don't want a bicycle path. That's another thing this preacher is talking about. Yeah, well, we're gonna get rid of this bicycle path to get $160,000 to put on top of what our stuff was appraised for, so we can relocate. So what they're gonna do, and this is what the lady that was sitting behind me, like daughter said at the church that that came in. It was from Gillis. Her daughter said they're gonna make you get a loan, and then that and so anyway, because they're not, you know what I'm saying? They're gonna get, they might do the $30,000 for you to get a new home, right? So it seems like a lot of money, but they want to move to some of the better neighborhoods like Germantown or Brighton or something. Uh, you know, But anyway, let me get this. Sheesh, I got a little confused. But the thing is, actually, I'm sort of upset and mad because what I'm thinking is, since they do have I guess I got a little confused. What I'm thinking of is, since they do have a timeline on it, which they're going to be done by 26. Oh, this is what I was going to say. I'm sorry, I digress. We're going to have a bicycle path. This is what I'm saying with the preacher just by himself. They're going to have a bicycle path. He said they're removing the bicycle path. They're going to give them that $160. So I said, well, don't you think that in our neighborhood with diabetes, hepatitis, a lot of people are on dialysis with diabetes, hepatitis, and HIV, and our crack problem we still have exists today, and our pain pills or heroin problem. Don't you think that we probably need a bicycle path or some type of exercise, or it's like people want to ride their bikes around here. You're going to get killed over here because they hate to see people walking. So I've been in the bus. They're like, why are they walking in the street? Why? They pay for the sidewalk. So like because I know how the sidewalks are all broken up, but they take everything so personal. So personal that we can't fix the crooked sidewalks. They're going to, so she's like talking about it. They want to hit them. They got a real nasty attitude like that preacher. Anyway, what I think is going to happen is, and then they got Ford Jr. that was down at the meeting, and like he and like it's like they want to fight. It's like this one guy I was talking to. I'm like, why don't we just bank up things? Just bank the river up. And I was talking to the engineer. He something against it, and I'm like, why? Do you want to move? He goes, no, I want to stay here. And then I said, then you just silly. He just started laughing. You know, they always want to come back. You know, it's like, you know, I'm saying something really don't got nothing to do with them, their life or anything. I'm talking about, you know, something that has to do with me. You know, because like, anyway. And they take everything personal. Everything personal. They're sort of like Trump people. You know, it's racism. But what's going to end up happening is that they're going to want all this money. They're going to keep delaying it. They're going to keep delaying it. And they're like, well, we got to 2022, you know, to get that done. And so, like, oh, that's a long time. I'm like, well, you know, it takes a while to do the construction because what I really want is not to get flooded again. So I want them to bank up that creek. And the lady goes, well, don't worry about it. If this is Memphis, they'll make an extension. 2 minutes earlier, they're talking about how this federal money. Like, make up my mind. Is Memphis going to be responsible and give us an extension, or do you think the federal grant people are going to give an extension? Or do you think that you're going to have that Fudge Jr. Anyway, let me get up. We got the wrong Ford. But what they want already failed. A major supermarket just closed down, Kroger. Right? I would like a former market. The whole clinic over here just closed down. The strip malls are closed down. And we don't need a policeman to be moving in the neighborhood. Because the first thing they want to do with the policeman is like what they did before. Let's let the policemen buy homes for $35,000. What they do is they make them into boarding houses. You know, you look from the street, it looks like a regular house or whatnot. Or like the guy next door, you know, he want to fuck with me so much instead of, you know, fuck him. You know, he waiting for me, you know, like since they took my fence off, ripped stuff off my porch, tore up this, killed my plant. So he's just waiting. He knows I'm supposed to be coming on his property. So now he got security lights all around his house. So when I walk in the morning, the first time after you put that up, and I walk in the morning and I went that, and I'm walking on the sidewalk, right? Just like I walk on the sidewalk right here till I get a certain area where like I'm not gonna walk on the sidewalk, but you know, still. So most part, I'm walking on the sidewalk right there, past his house, which fucks him up. If he sees me on my land, I mean, that Jim Crow stuff around here is really good, and it really affects them, and you know, I think it's just gonna cause us to lose the grant because they're greedy. You know, they're greedy. They're greedy, and everything they do is trying to hurt something. You know, never mind. But that's walking home at the West Junction